take me back, right? Yeah, ordinary AW is that way. So this will take me back. Here we go, we got a nice control point to use here. Let's see what the sector elevator thing is all about. That's back in Central Executive, right? And then I can check out my new outfits. This is obviously very important, guys. Candidate P7. Oh, that is a prison outfit, so don't know about that. Okay, yeah, so off stream I did get this expedition gear just by doing all of the jukebox things. It wasn't particularly like anything of interest in those quests for like the stream, but I did get this extra outfit. Maybe I'll rock it for a little bit. It does kind of slay. And also, it affirms for me, like, lesbian Jessie vibes, because this outfit's, like, got real dyke energy going on. As much as I love that, like, cool Star Wars outfit, let's rock this one for a little bit, mix it up, you know? Okay, also, what does, Arish want to talk about?
Did you find those rangers at the formation?
I found them. But it's not good news. The Hiss got there first. Lots of them.
Another dead team. Jesus. You know, I should have seen this coming. The formation, it's got like a pull to it. Things just end up there. I'm sure you saw all the junk from the Bureau lying around.
There were a lot of Hiss, Arish. I mean, a lot. Did they get pulled in too?
Or they forced their way in. The formation is just a big question mark to us. But who knows? You might even find some useful stuff down there. All I know is we cannot let the Hiss get comfortable.
Sounds like you have a plan.
Uh-huh. A simple one. You need to find more tokens and clear the Hiss the fuck out of the formation.
That is simple.
Oh, and I found a file on the formation while you were gone. You take a look for yourself if you want. A lot of the terms in there are way beyond me. I don't like to overcomplicate these situations. When in doubt, fucking shoot something, right?
Real helpful.
I try.
Yeah, so the formation is the like big thing in the middle of the
You're not the only one who's busy.
like expedition area, and there's like a bunch of dead rangers around there, so that's why he wanted to talk to me about it. Yeah, so I guess that that is just furthering, like, if you want to do more expeditions in the jukebox, just to explain that for people who might be confused about what was happening there. Okay, let's investigate that sector elevator, shall we? Can I not levitate in this outfit? Oh my god, what is going on? Or maybe I just can't use weapons in here. I swear to god, if this outfit has somehow rid me of my powers.
Darkness engulfed the elevator. There was something there, reaching for her, trying to make her act. It was a distress call. Phaeton sensed a drowning man, a hunger in the dark. Investigation sector.
Investigation sector, huh? We should check this out.
Oh my god! Wait, this is one of the DLCs. I think that this is one of the DLCs. This is the Alan Wake DLC. Okay, I need to figure out though if my powers work with the thingy-majiggy. Investigation sector. Okay, that was Alan Wake fucking like writing a story about Jesse. Okay, so I guess if you have the DLCs installed or you have the Ultimate Edition, then I guess that is like your thing to start that DLC.
Watch the place while you're gone.
Oh, now I'm torn. Do I want to continue the main quest or do I want to do the Alan Wake thing? Part of me kind of wants to do the Alan Wake thing, you know? Fuck it, yeah, let's do the Alan Wake thing. To the investigation sector! Oh, what the fuck? Oh, shit, I was like, that is dark. Okay, my powers are back, thank God. Okay, amazing. Okay, yeah, I am really enjoying the intense Dyke energy of this fit.
Hello? Anyone here?
Guess not.
Nah, just Alan Wake writing a story about a lesbian. Glad he's mixing it up.
Seems a lot more crowded than the rest of the bureau.
Actually, no, I take that back, because Alan Wake is a fucking weirdo. I don't trust him to write a story about a lesbian. Just explore. Okay. Okay, we just picked up a bunch of files. Oop. Sorry. It's a bit unnecessarily destructive of me, but that's fine. Okay. What's over here? And over here. Okay, well, Polaris wants me in there. But let's just check this out a little bit first. Sector head office. Okay, well, we got a bunch of documents to read about the investigation sector in a second. So let's do that. Darling investigation. Official findings report re Dr. Casper Darling, internal/confidential. Compiled by Tim Spaulding, Special Agent, by order of William Kirkland, Head of Investigations. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, internal investigation D0845 was launched into the ethical practices of Dr. Casper Darling, Head of Research. Ooh. Despite the accounts of anonymous redacted regarding inhumane treatment of a redacted currently housed in the Bureau, our official findings regarding this were inconclusive. Numerous obstacles arose during this investigation. The majority of redacted sector personnel seem to be wholly unaware of any such redacted contained there. One redacted confirmed the redacted's code name to be redacted, but all files pertaining to that name were inaccessible, being classified under the highest clearance level. Investigators were similarly blocked from entering the redacted research wing to interview its staff. The matter was further complicated by the lack of clarity on whether non-human paranatural entities warrant humane, quote-unquote, treatment. Wow. Ridiculous. While this investigation cannot address any charges against Dr. Darling, we do not recommend an investigation into redacted research. Okay, but obviously, like, the child abuse and the grooming and stuff has been fine. Official findings report redacted, internal confidential, compiled by redacted by order of William Kirkland, Head of Investigations. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, redacted was launched into the redacted of Director Zachariah Trench. Okay, so Trench and Darling being investigated internally by the investigations sector. A recent charge in redacted witnessed in Director Trench, including aggressive redacted when redacted with other staff, has been observed. However, this investigation is aimed at interpreting this issue rather than proving it. Interesting. Notable, redacted between Director Trench and Dr. Darling has been witnessed by numerous Bureau staff. Although both declined to meet for an interview on the matter, witness accounts suggest their arguments center around the Dimensional Research Wing and the redacted kept inside. However, no evidence exists to confirm Director Trench's redacted as anything more than interpersonal disagreements. This investigation has concluded that Director Trench's behavior is not indicative of any redacted, and that his fitness to lead is not in question. Spicy. Okay. Underhill background. Official findings report read Dr. Raya Underhill, compiled by Agent Lisa Keenum, external investigator by order of William Kirkland, head of investigations. Dr. Raya Underhill is a professor at the University of Woodrow in the United Kingdom, where she teaches biology with a focus on botany. So she is British. Dr. Underhill worked once with the Bureau as a parabotanist stationed in the research sector of the oldest house. She served with no incidents or demerits and is praised by those who formerly worked with her, including Dr. Darling. Dr. Underhill has no known connections to para-criminal organizations or any record of breaching her NDAs since leaving the Bureau. Her civilian behavior has been ideal, with the exception of an ongoing personal relationship with Dr. Darling that appears to have begun during their time as co-workers in the research sector and revisited intermittently ever since. Depending on the duration of her work in the oldest house, it may be required to have both parties sign a relationship clearance form. That's strange, because Dr. Underhill seemed like she really didn't like Dr. Darling. This investigation has found no compelling reason to deny Dr. Darling's request to offer Dr. Underhill an interim position with the aim of finding a solution to the mold threshold issue. Well, maybe they had a relationship previously and then they broke up over something. That's so juicy, though. Examination of Paranatural Topics, Interwoven Casualty of the Formation, compiled by Dr. Edna Pierce, lead of researcher of Parakinesiology Department by order of Dr. Casper Darling, head of research. The formation is a tall stone structure found in the quarry site Beta, only reachable by placing distinct tokens into the jukebox object of power. So again, this is referring to the jukebox and the expedition missions that you can do. The formation's exact purpose is redacted, but we can at least examine its relationship with the redacted surrounding it. Measuring devices found trace evidence of redacted at certain lines running from the formation to the redacted. When examined properly, 4 direct ritual tethers were detected. Some sort of sympathetic causality connects the formation with the redacted, which means, in theory, that when certain redacted are performed at once, it will physically affect the other. I've been urged to note here that some individuals believe the formation responds to any fulfillment of purpose or desire in nearby individuals, though I'd like to remind those individuals that we're the Parakinesiology Department, not the Parafeelings Department. Facts don't... What's the thing that people say? Like... about facts and feelings. Sorry, I was going to make the joke, but then I forgot what the stupid thing that people say is about facts and feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. Lol. Okay, I'm proud to report that my team was able to design, construct, and install a permanent detection system. These arches will help rangers identify when the casual tethers are active, allowing them to be better. Tractor supplement. Burrow tractor. Supplementary materials. Note, miscommunication led to a local coroner examining the body of William Burrow. William Burrow, male Caucasian, 33-year-old, found dead on his property per police report. Remains obtained for coroner's office also include blood, urine, bile, stomach contents, and bone fragments. Autopsy findings: blunt force injuries, head lacerations, left ear, cheek, blunt force injuries, extremities, dislocation of right knee, complete avulsion of the right upper extremity with associated fracture of the proximal right humerus, extensive trauma, abdominal region, complete avulsion of multiple organs including stomach, heart, liver, pancreas, kidneys, and portions of the large and small intestine, all missing from the scene. Conclusion: it is my opinion that Mr. Burroughs' death is not the result of a mechanical accident as claimed by authorities. The removal of organs is consistent with animal attack. Okay, and here's a bunch of our correspondence from the investigations department. Mr. Dennis, a request came through recently from an FBI agent asking for all our files on Brightfall, specifically on the disappearance of the author Alan Wake. Per the Interagency Information Exchange Agreement, I had some paper pushers gather up a folder of all the pre-approved files. Don't worry, all the inappropriate material is either missing or redacted. But I'm writing to let you know that we've received this request from a special agent named Alex Casey. Oh my god, that's, the protagonist of Alan Wake's novel. Sounds familiar, right? That's because Alan Casey is the name of the fictional detective in those hard-boiled crime books that Alan Wake wrote. Pretty interesting that an FBI agent sharing a name with the most famous character Wake wrote is looking into a case dealing with the writer's fiction coming true. Amazing. I think this is worth looking into, but what's your opinion? Just give the word and I'll start surveillance on this guy. Special Investigator Gleason. To Chief Investigator Dennis, it happened again. Third time this year. Something certainly has it out for our redacted. Could be raccoons. The locals certainly complained about them enough, but why the hell would raccoons keep going after a monitoring station? Doesn't add up. Anyway, I've got a bureau tech going to the site next week to take a look. Next on the list of recurring problems is the staff at the Lake House Research Station. How am I supposed to effectively keep an eye on Redacted Lake if they won't let me see any data? Hell, I don't even know what they're researching out there. We need to petition them again to share this info with the investigations agents. It's only a matter of time before this Redacted hits again, and I want to be prepared. Anyway, if anyone at HQ asks why the Bright Falls report is a little thin this month, tell them it's because we couldn't take any readings. In the meantime, I might invest in some raccoon traps. Sincerely, Agent Asbestos. 2017. Mr. Kirkland, here are the latest agents confirmed missing, presumed dead from the containment breach yesterday. Agent Jonathan Connor, researcher Ezra Cruz, Agent Carolyn Dempsey, Agent Lindsay Malcolm, Agent Charles Murray, and Agent Derek Shaw. Letters of condolence will be delivered to you to sign prior to sending them to their families. You will be updated as soon as additional confirmations are made. Wow, he doesn't even write his own condolence letters. Also, per your request, a network engineer checked how many cases were backed up digitally. Unfortunately, a large number of active investigations were not archived yet, and only hard copies of reports exist behind the firebreak. They're lost, I'm afraid. 2019. To whom it may concern, it is with great anger and regret that I tender my resignation as head of investigations for the Federal Bureau of Control. I do this in protest of the rampant disregard for my department's redacted. My staff cannot continue to work in these conditions. Previous requests and warnings have fallen on deaf ears, so I must now rely on my actions to speak louder than my words ever could. I blame this situation on our redacted, who has routinely ignored my requests for assistance in reclaiming the parts of the investigation sector lost to the redacted loose inside. I will never forget the screams of brave agents begging for us to open that fire break. I will carry that shame for the rest of my days. The redacted has failed his agents. I shall never forgive him for that. Sincerely, William Kirkland. I guess that's why we haven't heard about Kirkland. Kirkland, I am growing tired of your blatant attempts to lay your incompetence at my doorstep. I know you want this to be true, but you are head of investigations. This failure is your responsibility. What did you think would happen holding a dangerous specimen in investigations? The containment sector exists for a reason. They are better trained and better equipped for this type of work. In fact, they have admirably taken on certain AWE monitoring responsibilities that your staff are no longer capable of. This happens more and more now. And don't you think your petty internal investigations have gone past my notice? You are a worm. Everything I've done has been for the benefit of the Bureau. The Prime Candidate program only failed because of Darling. You are both failures, plotting against me. Lol. You are traitors, but the truth will emerge out of you. You are choosing to become my enemy, Kirkland. You don't want to be. Zachariah Trench, Director of the Federal Bureau of Control. Wow. Staffing issue. Mr. Dennis, so yes, there's an increase in AWE cases, and yes, it would be a good idea to put together a special task force to examine exactly why that is. However, it seems that a tiny little detail has slipped through the cracks. We don't have the damn staff. If you expect us to detect, investigate, and process more AWE cases, you need to give us more people. It's simple math. Between the staff we lost in the Hartman thing and the ones who left for other departments after Kirkland quit, we're barely managing to keep up with the workload. Hell, just filing the paperwork for the altered items we left behind in the sector has been an ordeal. Another thing, and this is going to sound paradoxical, but we have an overcrowding situation. This lobby isn't meant to accommodate a whole sector's worth of staff. We put forward a motion to move investigations to a more suitable location months ago. It better not still be sitting on your desk. The people are getting restless, and as Kirkland's interim replacement, it's your job to handle it. Best regards, Agent Grayson. Wow, okay, so tons of drama between the Department of Investigations and the director and the research departments.
Darkness engulfed the elevator. There was something there. A presence. Jesse Faden could hear it. A call. It was faint, reaching for her from a dark place. Faden was sensitive to visitations. She had them all the time. From her guiding star and the previous director. She was the perfect receiver. As if she'd been made for this. Faden paused to feel it. The force at play here. It was changing things around her, subtle. Trying to make her act. Faden didn't like that. Her guide felt it too. Polaris didn't flare up in defense as with the hiss. So it wasn't all bad. Not a hostile transmission. It was powerful, but it was coming from far away. And made weak because of the distance. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man. A man desperate to escape. She sensed something else, too. A hunger in the dark. Not unlike the hostile residents. Waiting. She knew that desperate acts can have grim consequences. It was this, more than the man's despair, that made her follow the call. The elevator lights winked back on. The darkness receded like a memory. There was a new button on the elevator control panel. Investigation Sector. Faden pressed the button. The elevator doors slid shut with practiced bravado.
Amazing. I hate to be a character in Alan Wake's story, but fascinating. Why is Alan Wake writing a story about Jesse Faden? I'm sure we will find answers of some kind, but such an interesting turn of events. Alright, this is where Polaris wanted us to go, so...
It's not working. Probably a loose power core somewhere.
A loose power core. Do you mean the box thingies? Because that one's on. Or it appears to be on. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I think I can see one there. There's probably a less destructive way to get here, but that was fun, so... Oh, hold on, there's another document. You grab that up. Well, I've not been able to see another core around, so I will see what happens if I just replace this one.
Now that gate should open.
Yep, seems good to me. Let's go. Nice, we got a control point down in investigations.
I'm no detective, but something definitely happened here.
Yeah, I think that that's a reasonable conclusion to draw. Alright, what do we got? Blessed organization, or blessed organization, perhaps. Paracriminal profile, okay. Compiled by Agent Tim Spolder by order of Remy Dennis, chief investigator. This group individual has operated outside of the Bureau's notice for decades, perhaps longer, displaying a level of skill and caution rarely seen in paracriminal groups. A review of past cases has found various mentions of their activity over the years. In 2016, a production company called Blessed Pictures was connected to an altered item case, as well as the death of an agent from exposure to illicit paranatural materials. In 1994, a Los Angeles-based public speaker named Chester Bless was involved in the illegal use of an altered item. I'm very interested in the legal versus illegal use of an altered item. In 1988, a business called Blessed Repair and Service was suspected of involvement with an object of power case, perhaps even creating it. None of these businesses or individuals have ever been located. However, their connection to appearances of altered items and objects of power is too direct to be considered circumstantial. An arrest order has been issued for any persons believed to be involved with the Blessed organization. Ethics investigation. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, internal investigation P1429 was launched into the legality of the Prime Candidate program by the Federal Bureau of Control. Since all known subjects relevant to the investigation used executive privilege to decline interviews, very little first-hand information was gathered. However, anonymous sources and documentation declassified by Mr. Kirkland both paint an alarmingly clear picture of systematic redacted and redacted. Redacted were brought into the oldest house and placed under redacted examination and testing with the aim of appointing one as director upon maturity. This program has produced no successful cases and has only resulted in the traumatic redacted of paranaturally inclined redacted. Not only is this in breach of the Ash Act, but it flies in the face of basic human redacted. Okay, really interesting. So Kirkland is on a fucking crusade against, or was on a fucking crusade against Trench and Darling, and this has included various ethics investigations, and it eventually leads to him resigning from the FBC. This is really interesting because it put into the mix a plot line where someone has ethical, and this is kind of the first time that we've really seen it, someone in the organization has ethical opposition to the work that the organization is doing and resigns from the organization on basically the basis of ethical disagreement. I don't know that he's completely denouncing the FBC, so it could potentially still be framed as propaganda through the lens of like, oh, it's just corruption. But I don't know. I do feel that we are definitely positioned in this game in a way that's like, I think like from the get-go kind of saying in all of these ways the FBC is this organization that does these deeply immoral things that we do not agree with. And I think that's kind of mainly explored through obviously Jesse and Dylan and like what the organization has done to them, but then it does kind of make you think about all of these other like political implications, like for example the foreign policy stuff that I was talking about in previous streams. Yeah, really, really interesting stuff. Okay. Official Findings Report, Incident A49, Internal Confidential. The purpose of Internal Investigation X0397 is to examine the containment failure of specimen SI1 that resulted in the deaths of redacted agents. An inspection report of the containment equipment 3 days earlier showed no faults. Investigators suspect human error to be the cause, yet no department has provided any evidence to support this. Technicians were able to recover the researchers' notes on the specimen from the internal network. On the redacted of redacted, the specimen began displaying a sharp increase in aggressive redacted. Cross-referencing that date with various logs found only 2 events inconsistent with the sector's daily routine. 1. The air filters were changed, and 2. An hour prior to the incident, a civilian named Alice Wake, entered the sector regarding an unrelated investigation. Given their connection to the same AWE case, it is likely that Mrs. Redacted's presence is relevant to the specimen's escape and to the redacted investigation is ongoing. So it sounds like Alice Wake somehow entered the organization. What I wouldn't do to have a game where I played as Alice Wake instead of Alan Wake. You know what I mean? Sorry, one sec. Yeah. I just, to play as Alice Wake and get her perspective on everything. Tractor procedures. Burrow tractor. Containment procedure. Item is not in Bureau custody. None known. Description. A Frank Elk tractor, olive green, dried blood on the grill when last seen. Item is capable of vocalized responses or growls and unmanned locomotion, considered highly aggressive and dangerous. The item first came to the Bureau's attention after the death of William Burrow, owner of Burrow Farm outside of Trenton, Texas. Local authorities arrived on the scene after an employee found the mutilated body of Mr. Burrow beneath his tractor. Police arrived but were immediately driven away by the tractor. Panicked calls to federal authorities were intercepted by Bureau communication staff. A team was dispatched. Upon arrival, the agents approached the item. It responded by growling like a bear. 3 agents were injured when they tried to detain the item, which escaped. Aerial searches for the item are ongoing. Speaking to Mrs. Burrow only revealed that she had a domestic altercation with Mr. Burrow earlier the night of the incident. Whether these events are connected is currently unknown. It's funny because I don't know if this was done on purpose, but his name is almost William Burroughs, the author, which is funny. I mean, he doesn't sound like he has particularly any connection to William Burroughs, but it's just a funny coincidence if it was an accident. Keystone inspection. Mr. Kirkland, we stopped at Keystone on our way to the target AWE like you asked. I'm sending my report directly to you to try and keep a lid on this Grumman-Morales desertion issue. We didn't find any sign of them here. Given their records, it is possible they've switched teams like you've suspected. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But I don't think that's the case. An event definitely occurred here in Keystone, and I think Grumman and Morales got caught up in it. The entire population has vanished into thin air. Reminds me of the ordinary case, but that was just the adults if I'm remembering the file correctly. This is different. I think our guys are casualties, not traitors. If it was an AWE, it seemed to be over. We walked through the whole town, and the only strange thing we noticed were markings on various buildings. 2 overlapping circles with a dot in the shared space. Could be unrelated. I'll show you the pictures when I get back. In the meantime, you should send a team out here to cordon this place off, and maybe get the comms guy working on a cover story. Sincerely, Agent Keenum.
Do we know each other? This feels familiar. I can't seem to... I've forgotten it. I'm sorry. My name is Alan Wake. Who are you? Who are you? Do I know you?
I'm your friend Tom. Tom Zane. There's nothing to worry about.
Tom. The poet. The diver. You look different.
That was just a role, a character. The protagonist I played in my old film. I'm a filmmaker. An auteur like yourself. We're working on this together, remember? An artistic collaboration. You need a drink.
Something I talked about when I was playing Alan Wake was like, what's going on with Thomas Zane? Like, is Thomas Zane a version of Alan? Like, what's going on? So it's very spicy to me that we're jumping in here with it's Thomas Zane, but it looks exactly like Alan. Oh, my favorite show is on.
Endless darkness. Nothing holds still.
We're very close now. You've been writing. You found a way to escape. It'll work this time.
Riding.
You found a way!
No. I don't... Wait. There's something. It's my double. He's out there. I've seen
Yeah.
him.
Nothing to worry about. I'm dealing with it. It's fine, my friend. Let me handle him.
You've met him? What the hell?
Now, come on.
His double. His double? Jesse's like,
That was Alan Wake, the writer who went missing in that AWE case I read about.
Shh.
What's he doing here?
Oh, good question, Jesse.
And Thomas Zane was with him. The poet. No, wait. He was a filmmaker. I always remember that wrong.
So interesting. So Thomas Zane the poet, Thomas Zane the filmmaker, Alan Wake and Thomas Zane. Alan Wake has got a double somewhere. I remember that Fia was telling me at one point that Alan Wake 2 is really, because the first Alan Wake is like very inspired by Twin Peaks, but that Alan Wake 2 is really kind of riffing off of The Return, which is, like the final season of Twin Peaks that was made 25 years later. And part of the whole thing in that is Cooper and his double. And there's also a version of Cooper that has a different name, Douglas Jones. So I can definitely already see the kind of foundations being laid for that, but that's quite interesting. Time to traverse the Ocean View Motel, as always. Okay, and that was... So we can usually only ever go through the room with the Black Pyramid, which is that room. But we just saw into this room with the spiral on it. So that's really interesting. Makes me wonder about some of these other doors. Why is Alan Wake in the spiral room? Oh. Okay, so I turned off the TV and the radio. Let's try pressing the button again. Oh, I can't. What the hell is that? Vending machine? Okay. And was that my key?
Dr. Emil Hartman, devoured by hungry darkness, became the thing that had been Hartman. Broke loose, killed everyone it could, lurking, roaming, waiting. Then something else came, a resonance. The thing that had been Hartman went through another change.
Huh. Thing that had been Hartman. Are we gonna fucking have a boss battle with the evil psychiatrist from Alan Wake? Also, I'm noticing evil psychiatrist being a little bit of a thing here. Can I... no? Okay. I mean, that's definitely where I need to go. Also, I don't know if I had if I said this earlier when I was changing into this outfit, which is like peak incredible dyke vibes. The ponytail as well. I really like the ponytail. I think just because it's like a bit more practical and a little less like I mean, it's not to say that I don't like Jessie's little like twisty hair things, but I am always a bit like, why is that how she chose to do her hair? Okay. That's not working. Is this gonna work? Or... nope! Okay, we're out of here. Oh, that's blood. Cool. Is that... oh, he is not looking good under there. Okay. Okay, we made it.
Creepy, damp, and abandoned. Why did Wake want me to come here?
Good question, Jesse. I'm also wondering this. Investigation sector. Okay, once again, it would be really handy to just have a little torch, a little flashlight. You know, maybe I could pop it on the end of my gun, like Leon in Resident Evil. You know?
That doesn't look like a house shift. Do I even want to know?
Ooh, control point. Love to see it. Also, like, no one, it's, okay, so, just reflecting on some of the information that we've gained and some of the stuff happening in this game, like, no wonder that Jessie, you know, she's felt, like, so, like, out of place and so, like, unable to, like, connect with people for all of her life because, like, her fucking therapist is, like, an awful gaslighting bitch who is probably a plant for this organization which is trying to control her life and is stalking her and, like, clandestinely trying to groom her for a certain position after having kidnapped her brother in order to do that to him. And, like, it feels, now that I'm thinking about it, like part of their plot to try to get her to be the director, to make her feel so alone and to make her feel so, like, her reality isn't, like, she doesn't know her own reality, like, to gaslight her on that level and to make her, like, question her own reality and to just destroy her relationship with herself and then feel like she can't trust other people because she can't talk to them about her experiences and, like, what she's seeing and what she's going through because they all just think that she's some, like, mentally ill, whatever. And so that she would come to the FBC and she would feel like she belonged there. And it would be like, oh, you know, I can just talk to people because, like, they're not treating me like I'm crazy and I feel like I belong here and blah blah, and that this is part of their fucking plot, is, like, engineering that she would feel so isolated and so alone and so, like, gaslit that when she came to them she would feel like a sense of belonging and that would entice her to want to be the director for the Bureau of Control. It's absolutely fucked. It's absolutely, and, like, totally empathize with her, right? Because, like, no wonder that she fucking feels that way. But it's so sinister. So fucking sinister. There we go. Who's fucking...
Of course, the Hiss are already in here.
I can't get in there, I guess. Try later. Hartman arrest? That's about the psychiatrist, right? sec. And foot gossip. Oh my god, no. Are there foot fetishists in the Federal Bureau of Control?
This darkness is blocking the door, so now I have to deal with an interdimensional noise and sentient shadows.
Aim a powerful light source at the darkness to destroy it. Just like in Alan Wake.
Light burns it away, huh? Makes sense.
And you know what? This whole time I've been talking about how nice it would be to have a torch. It feels like a good time to give me a torch, considering the Alan Wake stuff. But maybe that's just me. Oh, he's not looking good. Okay. I guess I've just got to levitate this instead of holding it for some reason. I also feel the need to say I don't really care that much about a hairstyle being like impractical, but I just feel like Jessie, she has such like dyke vibes, you know what I mean? And she has such a like I would have a practical haircut type vibes. Like to me that seems like who she is as a person. It was haunting me what I said earlier because, I mean, I stand by it, but I just needed to justify it because I didn't want you to think that, like, I don't support a bad bitch with an impractical haircut. Because if you want an impractical haircut, then go piss girl, but it's just, she's not the kind of bitch who would do that, you know what I mean? Like, that's not her vibe. Damn, okay. Hartman arrest. Tell me the tea. Offender name, Emil Hartman. Victim names, Alan Wake, Tor Anderson, Odin Anderson, Rudolph Lane, Wendy Desolé, Thomas Emerson, and 2 redacted names. Officer name, Special Agent Remy Dennis. Charges, kidnapping of altered individuals, 1 count. Sanctions against altered organizations, 1 count. Obstruction of Bureau investigation, 1 count. Breaching the Ash Act, 6 counts. I wonder what the Ash Act is. That's the second time it's been mentioned. Additional notes. Offender's property seized as evidence to be used in conjunction with an ongoing AWE investigation. Offender's personal effects have been sent to research for analysis. After being cleared by Bureau researchers, all victims have been released. Biannual surveillance orders were assigned to each, except the Anderson brothers, due to their senility and Wake, possibly deceased. Hello, my feet gossip at night, and now I have to wear shoes to bed. Sincerely, me. Damn, that sounds rough.
Dr. Emil Hartman was desperate. The Federal Bureau of Control had stolen his life's work. This was his last chance, his final experiment. What he'd been too scared to do before. Hartman dove into the lake, was taken, devoured by hungry darkness, became the thing that had been Hartman. Only an echo of him remained, fragmented impulses on autoplay, violent, bloodthirsty darkness in the driver's seat. Emerging from the lake, the thing was captured by the FBC, brought in, contained, studied. The thing broke loose, killed everyone it could. The FBC fell back and sealed the sector. this, but similar enough. A sound. A resonance. It shouldn't be a surprise. If there's one, why not another? The darkness inside the thing could have been immune, could have resisted, fought, could have been passed by, passed through with no effect. But it didn't, and it wasn't. Maybe it had grown weaker over time, not aged. It was timeless, but weaker with no link to its source. A metamorphosis followed. The thing that had been Hartman went through another change. The resonance carves its way through the thing that had been Hartman, vibrating, remolding. The sound changes the darkness, and the darkness changes the sound. They both changed what remained of Hartman. They all turned into something else. A third thing. The sound made darker. The darkness made louder. Hartman was stretched. Stretched as anyone when seen from out of time, like a worm through time. Almost an Ouroboros, a spiral, a maelstrom. The gravity well of a black hole, twisting inward, tightening, taking you deeper and deeper to the bottom, the heart, and through to the other side. The third thing said, when you hear this, you will know you're a new you. He said, we build you till nothing remains. He said, under the conceptual reality, behind this reality, you must want these ways to drag you away. He said, baby, 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 yeah, orange peel. The third thing was a monster. He'd tear apart any ordinary person crossing his path. Now he crashed out of darkness toward Faden. There was nothing ordinary about Faden.
Damn, Alan Wake actually became kind of a good writer, you guys. And that's the most shocking thing of all. Oh, I need a light. A light, I need a light. There was a light back through there somewhere, wasn't there? Ugh, I should have held on to that other one. Or is there one down here? No. I remember passing one. Maybe back here in the service tunnel. There we go. I wish there was a way to put these down gently. I didn't want to destroy the other one. How do I put you down gently? You know what I mean? Doesn't seem like I can. Well, it's there if I need it. Nice.
My understanding of the darkness is fragmented, incomplete. This abyss, this void, it very much does not wish to be understood. Knowledge that it stands to reason that darkness equates to ignorance. By its very nature, it abhors comprehension. Of course, my own nature drives me to comprehend all. We are opposing forces, destined to collide. And given this conflict of natures, we know that the light of truth will burn away the darkness, both figuratively and literally. insignificant light source can be used as protection, even weaponry, against this metaphysical gloom. And then there are the artists. I know for a fact that Tom, Wake, the Anderson brothers, and Lane all had some involvement with the darkness. The question is whether their uncanny ability to affect reality through their art beckons the darkness, or did their work perhaps even create it? With Wake now secure in my lodge, I expect I shall be closer to learning the answers to these questions. Assuming he cooperates, which is proving quite the challenge. Well, the foundation of knowledge. Speaking of, I must be off on my rounds.
Wow. I mean, I talked a little bit in my Alan Wake stream about how I felt about the whole, like, light and darkness thing. In the sense that, like, the idea that light symbolizes knowledge and darkness symbolizes ignorance is kind of like something that we sometimes take for granted, but it is like very racialized, and it's like a narrative that's been used in a lot of colonial endeavors. You know, the light of the colonizer and the dark ignorance of the dark savage and those kind of narratives. So it's definitely something to engage with critically, IMO.
Agent Fisher, day 6 inside the motel. Utilized surveillance methods are as follows. Fiber optic cameras slid under the individual room doors, motion detectors in the lobby area. Tripwire, triggering a flash camera across the main entrance, even fingerprint powder on the front desk. Results are varying at best, but mostly just inconclusive and unusable. The footage is corrupted, sometimes even the equipment is damaged. I don't know how exactly. I think this place is making fun of me. That's the only explanation. I can hear them laughing and screaming behind the closed doors. I can hear the call bell go and ding multiple times a day, but when I look, there's no one there. I know I'm supposed to stay out of sight, but I've seen the doors closing just before I can catch even a glimpse of anyone or anything. They're messing with me, whoever they are. I think... Wait, shh. There's something. I gotta get this. Gotta get the cable out. Come on, you fiber optic fuck, cooperate. Okay, there we go.
Reminder, all employees are required to report their hours at the end of each month. The Federal Bureau of Control maintains that time is not subjective, and hours passed on alternative planes cannot be claimed. Astral dives do not accumulate overtime compensation. Thank you for your attention.
Wow, fuckers are still trying to find the best way to exploit their workers to the max. Not that government agents are workers in a sense, and also don't deserve to be unionized.
I don't feel right.
Yeah. Okay, that was too broad a statement. Cops. That was what I meant to say, because these guys are cops.
Something in this darkness is draining me.
Right, okay. There are a few sockets in here. To turn the electricity on, but I can't see any thingamajigs, so I'm just gonna head up.
Shit.
Great.
Now what? What is that?
Oh fuck.
Come on, elevator, time to go.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
So you don't like the light? Can use that.
Oh, come on. There we go. Where's the next one? I knew that this was gonna come in relevant, but I didn't realize it was gonna come in relevant for a friggin' boss fight. Oh, no, no, no. No, sir. Oh, come on, where's the switch? Where's the switch? Where is it? Ah! Okay, oh, fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck! No, no, no. Oh, that's terrifying. Oh, I hate that. Okay, where are the other light majiggies? Oh, I can't see where the next one is! Ah! Okay, I'm gonna levitate in order to get through this. Yeah, okay, there's one over there. Okay, thank God for levitate. Okay, now I gotta go back and get some more power cores. Oh, this is terrifying though. They did that. Ugh. Shit, okay. I saw another one. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Boom, okay. Incredible for Dr. Hartman's story that he has just become a creature.
Okay, this room is really intimidating and all, but I know my rights. It's not a crime to try and get a book signed.
Making unauthorized contact with a dangerous paranatural entity is indeed a bureau offense, Mr. Langston, and can be prosecuted as such.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that.
That's funny.
Listen, this is
Sorry, I'll listen to the rest of that later. Okay. I'm focusing on the big scary right now. There we go. Okay. Where's the next thingy-majig? Okay, hold on. I'll just pick up. Oh, he's running away.
Yeah, how do you like that?
Okay, I thought I was gonna have to, like, do a whole thing, so...
21 years old, resident of Southern Texas.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but I really don't understand why Ew.
Tell me about Delivery Disaster.
The movie? I mean, it wasn't very good.
That's not what your review said, but we'll come back to that. Tell me where you got the movie from.
Movie night with a, a K, not an N, not night like nighttime, but
Who contacted you? Who told you to review that film?
no one. I just did it because it looked obscure. I didn't even like the movie. I shouldn't have given such a high score, but reviewing obscure films makes you look smart. And I thought if I look smart, I'd get listeners. My podcast would take off, and I could move out of my parents' basement. I may even go to college and get a film degree like I've always wanted to. I swear. I swear, I swear, I swear.
Okay, the kid doesn't know.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Okay, I'm just going up the elevator, right?
What are you doing in investigations?
Jesus, don't scare me like that, Langston.
If you're talking right now, I can't hear you. It's a one-way system. Try to find an intercom.
Langston, it's me, Jessie.
I know. I can see you on the monitors. The cameras in there haven't worked since we sealed that sector off a couple years back.
Let me guess. You sealed it because of the monster guy.
Wait, did you see Dr. Hartman? Jesus, I really wish you hadn't opened that fire break. Okay, listen, you need to find Hartman and kill him before he gets out into the Bureau.
That thing is a person?
He was a person. We brought him here to study after he was, altered in an AWE. I forget the medical word for what happened, but now light physically hurts him. Do you have a flashlight?
No.
A lantern? Headlamp? Oh yeah, flare gun. Oh, Christmas lights. You could wrap them around your...
I don't have any of those, Langston.
This is what I've been saying.
Shit. Okay, well, I'm sure you'll think of something. I'll keep an eye on you from the Panopticon. This is kind of exciting, right?
Maybe from where you're standing.
Right, okay. Well, break a leg. Oh, why did I say that?
Okay, this Hartman thing can't have gotten very far. Let's go flush him out. Langston was right. This is kind of exciting.
It's nice to have someone to talk to, you know? Ever since I got put in charge of the Panopticon, people treat me different, like I'm crazy for wanting to work with altered items. People just don't understand the altered items like I do, you know? I don't want to brag, but it does take a very empathetic mind to connect with the items.
Doesn't
Still,
want to brag.
Making it so personal.
Right.
I mean, the teams in research handle paranatural materials every day, and no one thinks they're weird. Well, maybe that's not true. Darling is famous for being a bit out there, but when he's weird, it's charming. Altered items really aren't that frightening once you get to know them. If you figure out what they like or don't like, you know, what sets them off, then there's nothing to worry about. I guess at the end of the day, we're still just wild animals scared of our own shadows. We're supposed to be on the same team, but sometimes it feels like it's every department for themselves, like it's a race and we're all trying to be number one. If it is a race, though, I'd say Darling is a mile ahead of everyone else. He was Trench's golden boy for years, but that relationship has gotten pretty tense, or so I've heard through the grapevine. Not that I spread rumors, just, you know, people talk. Not me, though. I keep my nose to the grind. Too much work to do to focus on those kinds of things. I need to stay focused so I can get my work done and get home to feed Alfred.
He's
Of
just
course,
gonna talk forever,
can't always
isn't he?
make it home for mealtime, so I have my neighbor check in on Alfred at 7 o'clock if I'm not back yet. She's very nice. Her name is Maria. She's older. She came to New York in the 50s to attend school and has been here ever since. She has a couple of kids. I met them at Thanksgiving. Big family. Very nice people. Anyway, she has a key to my apartment and she gives Alfred his dinner if I'm not home. I'm gonna have to buy her a nice fruit arrangement as a thank you after this. I'm missing a lot of Alfred's meal times. She's probably gonna have to go to the store for more wet food. I'll have to remember to pay
So
her
Alfred
back.
is a dog or a cat?
Hold on, let me make a note. Pay back Maria
this is really funny. I do, like, I love the, like, little things in this that just, like, really add to the... Just, like, add a kind of, like, sense of humor to all of this.
Are you a cat person? I don't think I ever asked. You seem
Cat. Okay, she's a cat.
You'd like Alfred. He's very proper. Really carries himself well, you know? I named him after my favorite poet. Felt like
Who? Alfred Tennyson?
I got Alfred just before Sylvia.
Oh my god, Alfred Tennyson and Sylvia Plath?
Huh. You know, I don't really remember where I got Alfred from.
Nerd.
But, boy, those two did not get along. Oh, no. Sylvia thought she owned the place. Didn't like me getting in her way. Scratched me more than once when I was just trying to move her food bowl. That cat was a real asshole.
Wow.
I'm realizing now that language
kind
was professional. You see, Sylvia didn't tolerate most people, or animals, or anything. And that's what I meant when I said asshole. I would never use that word about a person. It was just, hey, there's a light flashing on the console here. I got to, check this out. I'll get back to you later.
Real smooth, like.
That was amazing. I'm so glad I stayed and listened to the whole thing. Oh boy. I love video games.